I wish that there was like a. I don't know why. I always think it's like because if we do an intro, like obviously we can't like unless I do it so you can hear it. Um,
Right.
it's tricky. It's always tricky. But I don't know. We haven't had an intro 80 episodes into my podcast show,
I know.
and it's too late to start. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mitch's Minute. I'm your host, Mitch. We're actually going to be changing the setup of the podcast here in a little bit. It's been a while, right? I haven't done a Mitch's Minute in a couple weeks because I've been doing Kings of Wishful Streaming. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about why and what we're going to be doing here in just a second. But I'm joined today with Amanda, as usual.
Hey, what's up? It's been a while and I've been gone.
That's right. You visited in the interim. And
I
it feels bad because I know that like this is one of my least watched shows, so it's kind of hard to be like, hey everyone, I have a super kind of important heavy piece to explain, my mentality going forward for the next bit. But it's going to be attached to my Nintendo Direct episode of the podcast.
I know, Jesus.
Uh,
Yeah, but even before cuz I only visited last week, but there was like an entire week before that where I also just wasn't there, and it was like Nate and you doing all of the streams that week. That's because my computer decided to explode. Yeah, my computer decided that it was done with me and my bullshit and died. And so I had to buy a whole new, way too expensive computer.
mm.
I'm still like hurting on the inside
I
about
bet.
how much I had to pay.
Yeah,
I
but like
hate,
you finally have a new computer though. Like you've been needing
yeah.
to buy this. Like I hate to say it like that, but like you finally got something that I think will because now we can play games together. That's another thing that I'm excited about. Outside of the internet, you should be able to play games and enjoy yourself and have be able to work more efficiently because you have a better computer.
Oh, oh yeah, absolutely. Because already this computer is like way faster. I don't have to worry about like some of the issues I did. Like I didn't even realize they were issues at that point. I was just so used to it that I was just like, this is how computers be sometimes, in which everything's extremely slow. It takes like 5 minutes to start up. Fucking everything takes forever. But no, it's been really nice and really awful all at the same time.
This is the steady change. Um,
Can I just say that I'm tired of life working in sets of 3, by the way?
what makes you say that?
Have you ever heard of the rule of 3?
Well, I know the rule of three for jokes, but like, what is the rule of three?
Uh, it might just be something with me and my family, but we always say that it's the rule of 3. If something bad is, it's gonna happen in sets of 3. If something is going to like fail, like an object is going to like die on you, then it'll happen in threes. And that is definitely fucking happened today.
Hmm.
First it was my tablet, then it was my fucking God, I had to get something else. I'm trying to remember what. I've spent way too much money recently. Fucking, I also had to get a new computer, and Jesus, like there was another thing I cannot think of it right now. But I had to like replace a lot of shit in a very short amount of time, and I'm like, okay, thank you.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. The entire fucking time. Oh, it was my monitor. I had to get a whole new monitor as well.
Well, at least you have a whole new computer, and It's
God.
literally the entire thing is new. So at least there's that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everything is new.
Well, let's go ahead and get into channel news because that's going to take a little bit of chunk before we get started on the Nintendo Direct talk. So we need to have a talk, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So, you probably noticed last week and a couple of weeks, and throughout, I guess, a lot of, let's just be real, the pandemic, we have been taking time off here and there. And I think it's really, really important to note that throughout the pandemic, every single one of us worked and jobs that involved us going to a place, especially Nate. Fucking Christ. Everyone had like different levels of danger that they were putting themselves into. Whether it was going to a restaurant to work, whether it was going to a warehouse, whether it was just constantly interacting with people, the especially at the beginning of all of this, the stress of all of it. And for some of us, what would happen is we would get off work, come right back home, and then start streaming. And we had been doing this routine for so long. I genuinely love streaming for you guys. I love sharing the experience of gaming, and that's always been something that I really, really liked ever since I started like really pushing for streams instead of videos, because I get to be here with you guys directly rather than just uploading something, And I'm gonna level the Save Point City transition, the Save Point City move it's been tricky, and we have a whole new thing planned out, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun once we can get it set up, but it's gonna take some time. And the last couple of weeks doing King of Wishful stream with you guys has also just been like a really fun time playing the shit out of Persona 5 to a guide. Has been incredibly stressful, but it's fun. And I guess I gotta stop beating around the bush here. We're gonna be slowing down our streaming a lot. And when I mean a lot, I mean I can't tell you when the next King of Wishful streaming is. They're already sporadic. They're gonna be a lot more sporadic. Meaning that like it could be, I'll give you guys in the server like a heads up a couple hours beforehand, right? But for the most part, I'm stressed out. Amanda, yeah. I know you're stressed out.
Ooh.
Nate's stressed out.
Yeah.
Real life has kind of beaten us down. And it's really hard for me to say that because I don't want to admit that. But we've had too many things happen. Too many personal tragedies, too many ongoing stresses to ignore it. And I know it sounds silly, it sounds silly to a degree, because it feels like every time I have this conversation with everyone, it's like, well, we have these personal things happen. I mean, for long-time viewers of my show, you all know that, I've had a lot of personal tragedies happen in the last few years, and I don't want to go over that. I don't want to fucking rehash that shit with you. But I want, but you've been here. And it feels like every year I have to sit here and tell you guys, I don't know how much longer we can hold up the schedule. And unfortunately, this is that time where I'm like, hey guys, so Nate's going to be doing his Tuesdays and Fridays, and I'll cover some Fridays, but I don't know when I'm going to be covering this. I'll still try my best to do Mitch's Minutes because they're super easy to put together. They're not very stressful, and it's a nice time for me to do like my Fraser Crane cosplay and sit here and do a radio show. And Like, that's fun, that's enjoyable. But there's so much work that goes into this production, and there's still so much work we have to do with the revamp. And there's so like 2 years ago, we did this whole thing where we stopped the show. We stopped Velvet Room, and we took a couple months off, and we came back with Save Point City. And I want to almost do that again, because the next thing we're doing in Save Point is going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort. We're going to push ourselves. And I think because of our workaholic tendencies, where we just want to keep producing, we want to keep streaming, we want to keep doing these things, we ignored the problems. And I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud that that some of my coworkers were hurting. And I'm not proud of that. I ignored it, and it wasn't intentional. It wasn't in my peripheral, and I'm not happy about that. And I feel like we're going to be taking a break. And not in the big grandiose, I do a whole song at the end and all that stuff. Not that kind of break. It's just, when it comes to the Kings of Wishful streaming, they are going to be more sporadic. Nate's going to keep streaming on Tuesdays and Fridays to get through Persona 4, because he does want to be that game. But we want to make sure that I want to make sure that everyone on this team is okay. And I'm okay with doing the podcast with all of you. I think it's fun. It's my favorite, one of my favorite dumb things to do. And I'm okay with doing random bits here and there. But I'm not gonna lie, it hurt to know that it does cause so much stress, especially through this pandemic. And this is gonna sound shitty, but to me it feels like, because of our workaholic tendencies, we just didn't take that break. We just kept working. And because for some reason we're just programmed that way. Anyways, the point is that, from here on out, the schedule's going to be a little bit more sporadic, with the only 2 guaranteed days being Tuesdays and Fridays. So I just want you all to know that going forward.
Yeah. And forgive us if some days it's not like a strict hardcore, this is set in stone what we're playing sort of days. Some days it might just be something lighter.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. For the most part, we're going to try to get through Persona, and we're going to try to get through the games that we said we're going to get through. But every once in a while, it might just be something lighter.
Honestly, Nate, you and I have been playing Uno.
Yeah, just on some of our time off, we got really into Uno.
I don't know. And this video is hard to do to some degree, just because I feel like I've failed as kind of like the group head.
No, I wouldn't say that. Like, you're a workaholic, I'm a workaholic, and Nate's a workaholic. Like, literally, what we do is we either come back from work, hop on, and immediately start working on this, or in Nate's case, hop on, work on this, go to work. Like,
yeah,
all of us have this weird workaholic mentality where we're like, okay, so this is my day off for the week, and then the rest of the time I will be working.
Yeah, I don't know. A big part of this decision just also comes from the fact that we haven't been spending a lot of times just as friends, doing dumb shit like playing stupid games together, or it just, I feel like it's a personal thing with me, where if you aren't directly involved with the show, I tend to lose track of you, and it's not healthy. It's not good, So anyways, the point is, guys, it's just that's the change of the schedule. It's a personal apology coming out from not just me. I've already apologized to the rest of to everyone who works on the show. But you'll still get Tuesdays and Fridays guaranteed. Nate wants to finish Persona, and then I'm probably gonna do the podcast or something else on Sundays, just depending on how I'm feeling. So and that's the thing. I got to remember that there was a time when we only did one stream for 2 hours, and that was it. That's all anyone would get, and that was just that, and that worked for a time being. So once again, I apologize to everyone. But I know you guys have been so supportive of every little thing that has come our way, and I honestly couldn't ask for better fans, if I'm gonna be honest. So
you guys are great. I would also like to apologize because I mean, like, I know you're stressed out and you're like, oh, I'm the head. I should have done something, but also, like, I mean, I'm an adult. I know better. I know when to, like, chill the fuck out. But sometimes I have a weird mentality of just like putting my head down and then just working until I eventually drop. So yeah, that's my bad, and I would like to apologize because I know that does stress you out, and that stresses Nate out, and
I'm sure that we're going forward. We're going to try to be better at this, and that we can make better videos, and we've got this incredibly ambitious project in the work, guys. I swear, we do. We
do. It'll be so good, guys. I'm very excited.
we're pretty hype about it. But it's gonna take a while, and I think, like I said, we just need to take that step back. And because I hate we're always so busy. Sometimes I miss opportunities to hang out with other people, and I got to hang out with Ron the other day, and Ron works on the show, obviously, but Ron also has an incredibly busy life, and just playing games with Ron for like that little bit was just, I don't know, it felt like an eye opener. It's just like that. But anywho, enough of our sad moment of, hey guys, the schedule's going to be a little slow for a while. Let's talk about something a lot more. What's up?
Oh, I don't mean to like interrupt you, but the one downfall about actually taking time off is that you're trying to kickstart my addiction into FF14 again. So thank you for that.
It's I
played that so fucking much.
It's one of the only games that we all play together. It's not my fault.
I know, but I'm just like, oh boy, I had a problem with FF14 for a hot minute. It was like for a year in which I just burned right through from like level 1 to level 70 something. And I just I had to take a break because of like work and life. And now I'm like, wow, I played that a lot.
well, that's the beauty of an MMO. That's the beauty of a role-playing game. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Direct and talk a little bit about that, because that threw everyone off this last week. No one expected the Direct. And the first thing I want to talk about is the first thing that popped for everyone, how they decided to start it off, which was the introduction to Pyrrha.
And Pyrrha and one other person.
Mira. I think it's
Pyrrha and Mira.
I think it's Pyrrha and Mira. I think that's the gimmick. Okay, so that's the thing. I don't know anything about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right? Because that's the game that came from, was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I don't know anything about it. But this is the new Smash character, and my prediction was correct. The hentai Twitter's hentai community just went for it. Just really deliver.
Thank you, Twitter's hentai community. You just never fall short, do you? You're always just fucking right on it.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so like the minute it was announced, like later that night, I was like, I wonder, and like I just looked it up.
Dude, like the second they were announced, and I seen them, and I was like, what's that noise? That sounds like tablet pens meeting tablets. Oh God.
I had this like headcanon idea that like people, what they'll do is on the day of the direct, they'll draw just like outlines of like positions and stuff, and then they'll just add a head later on.
Oh, dude, without a doubt, right? Like, look, this is just me maybe, but for efficiency's sake, if I knew that my main demographic, my main selling point was that I could just pump that shit out for whatever fucking character was announced within that same day, I would have thousands of images just ready to go. I would just open up my computer and be like, which one am I gonna use today?
just like an endless amount of bases.
Endless amount of like preset bases, all with like different skin tones, not different body types, because they can't do that. It's the one body type. And then fucking different positions, and that's it. That's all I would do. It's just
you're sitting on a gold mine.
Honestly, it's a pretty good idea. I'm not gonna lie. If I had like some more time, maybe. So maybe that's how I start my empire.
I haven't been playing a lot of Smash Ultimate. I only really play it when Sora is like wanting to play some. And even then I have like a real problem where, maybe not problem, that's I have addiction. I have a real issue. No, I have this thing where like I can't play fighting games by myself for long periods of time if I'm not in the mood for it. Like if I'm just not in the mood for it, I will not do it. And that becomes like a real issue when like I want, like, let's say like I want to get into BlazBlue, right? Like just really hardcore like train, right? I used to do this all the time in my early 20s. Is like I'll do it. I'll sit there and I'll train as hard as I can, and I'll like play, like I'll increase the difficulty and try and like slowly but surely incrementally get better, because that's how you get better at anything. Oh motherfucker, we should add that. We should add Taiko to the list. It's not part of the direct, but I do want to talk about it because it is a game I own on the Switch. But you start off easy and you just continuously, progressively get harder and harder and harder, so that, you know, you can advance your skill. In Smash, I could do the same thing, but I don't know why. I just haven't, and I think it's because in my heart of hearts, I don't 100% see Smash as a fighting game. I see it as like this party game I'd play when I was like a kid, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. I do want to sit down and just try that and see how that goes. But outside of that, I from what the video showed, it looked like she was going to be like a lot of fun. I do know a lot of people are like complaining about her.
Oh, because they're sword fighters again?
Who gives a fuck? Like, I hate saying it like that, but like who genuinely gives a shit? Like, it's another character. It's another fun character in your fun game.
I just think they're looking for new movesets, that's all.
I don't know, like, it's the same thing when Sephiroth came out, right? Like, Sephiroth was an anime sword fighter, and then this one was an anime sword fighter, but it's like, who cares? I know maybe that's really insensitive, but like, I don't know. Like, you're getting another.
And to be fair, sword fighters are just really popular in media.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot
of them. I don't know if you guys realize, sword fighters, pretty popular. Pretty popular, not gonna lie.
Now, granted, the character that I would want for it would be like, oh, I don't know, like Kiryu. Kiryu would be like a cool brawler character, but like at the same time, I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. This is the same thing that we said when Sephiroth was announced, right? When Sephiroth was announced, we had the exact same thoughts, which were like, it's an anime sword fighter, but like it's the anime sword fighter. And for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, for people who really like Xenoblade Chronicles, like they get their like. I know that there's a divide with the fans, whether you like 2 or the original. So like they get their character, you know, and like I don't know, it's just cool. It's a really cool thing. Like it's like when Steve from Minecraft came into the game. There are people out there who were really divided about it, but at the end of the day, Smash is a game in which characters from now all all games, there's a chance for you to come in, right? And that's awesome. The fact that Sans has a costume and that I can play him in fucking Smash is amazing. You know, like I don't know, it just the point is it was a really good start to this to the direct because it got out of the way, so that people weren't going to be spamming more Smash stuff in the chat the entire time, but that didn't stop people from spamming other things in the chat like Legend of Zelda, where's Breath of the Wild's 2, and all that. Which is funny because one of my favorite things on Twitter is people taking shots at being like Legend of Zelda fans asking for a new game, but like F-Zero and Star Fox and all these other people are like they've been waiting forever. Been waiting for quite a few time.
Oh yeah. I mean, the reason everybody was like so hype about like Legend of Zelda and Pokemon though, because there was a lot of people complaining that there wasn't anything for Pokemon. Is just
that'll happen later
because I know they'll happen later, definitely, but it was just that they're like, well, it's their anniversary. Why didn't you say anything? It's their anniversary.
Also,
you gotta say some.
Wasn't the whole point of the direct to talk about games that were coming out like in this first half? And I mean,
you say that,
but the last one, yeah, but.
I mean, I figure like they did mention Legend of Zelda, but with Pokemon and Legend of Zelda, I figured they'd want to do something more special than just have it mixed in with a bunch of like, I don't want to say like random announcements, but for the most part, random announcements.
I don't know.
You know, I figured they'd probably do something special for them.
Yeah. That being said, though, from what I saw in the video, she looked pretty cool. I do have the pass, so when she comes out, I'll be able to play her and see how cool that is. Because she looked like fun. She looked like she was a lot of fun. The next thing I do want to talk about is very soon, very, very soon, the hunt will continue. And I'm so excited for Monster Hunter Rise. It looks so fucking good. I played the demo earlier this month with Sora. That was tons of fun. I honest to God cannot wait for this game. I'm so happy right now to be a Switch owner because it feels like there's just so many cool things coming out. I can't say anything I haven't said before about Monster Hunter Rise. It looks really awesome. I cannot wait to play it more. Monster Hunter is super addictive because it's grind fest. But it's a grind fest with friends, just like FF14. And I honestly like I said, it's. Oh, Gronzon says, "Please take this down. I'm a major Monster Hunter fan, and I can't get this, and it hurts." I know. So that's the thing. So Monster Hunter World came out for, I think it was the Xbox, the PC, and the PS4. But Rise is the exclusive one for the Switch, and it looks great. I'm a huge shitty weeb, which will be really relevant with like the next thing I want to talk about. So like just this Japanese inspired Monster Hunter, like the theme is just let me hunt Japanese dinosaurs. Let me do that. And Amanda, I'm gonna force you to get this game too. Like,
oh, I already knew that.
It's gonna be good. It's good. It's a really fun game. That's being said, let's get this off the screen for Gronzen. and talk about just a little bit, tiny bit, nothing too crazy, but Samurai Warriors 5. Handsome looking boys. Handsome dudes just beating up people. Oda Nobunaga and I think it was Adachi. Is it Akechi or Adachi? Ironically, both names are characters from Persona. But like this, like I don't know. I'm a big fan of Warriors games just because I think that they're just tons of fun. I really love the Gundam ones, and I played a lot of Age of Calamity. But like, holy shit. Samurai Warriors 5 looks like it's really cool. They changed the art direction for it, so the characters look a little different, but it looks great. Looks fun. They didn't show too much of it, but I am excited either way. It looks like it's going to be a great time. Moving right along, we're going to talk a little bit about World's End Club.
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited for that one.
I didn't know it took place in the 90s. That was new. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about that one.
It's made by the Danganronpa team. Danganronpa and oh god. I just said it like earlier.
Zero Escape?
Zero Escape, yeah. It's made by the Zero Escape and Danganronpa people. And I am very fucking excited because this is apparently one of their last Killing games. So that should be fun. I'm very interested. And also, the kids are way younger now, so that's a bit scarier.
Yes, we did look a little bit into the development process, and the reason why was because they actually wanted to make it feel more like The Goonies or It, where it's a piece of adult media content, but but with children, so that there is kind of that more intense feel to it, that more direness to the situation. The art style actually reminds me a lot of Sun and Moon, a little bit here and there.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. They've got like a totally different artist on it this time than like, Danganronpa or Zero Escape. It looks absolutely fucking fantastic though. It's so fucking cute looking. I can't wait to watch these children be murdered.
Dude, well that's something that I think is really interesting is because the direct kind of spoiled a little bit of it, where it said, essentially it is a killing game, but it got canceled. And so it's this weird thing where they have to go somewhere.
Oh damn, Mitch, you are actually like exactly fucking on it. I just looked it up. The person who did the art for it is Take, and Take did the art for Pokemon Sun and Moon. She was the character designer.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I am super interested in this game, if only because the Danganronpa series is something that both me and you really like. But like also just artistically, this game looks very unique. In fact, it reminded me when I first saw it, it actually reminded me a lot of The World Ends With You. And how some of the coloring is done, some of the use of the shading in that game. As you can totally tell, I don't know anything about art. But stylistically,
working on that too.
Stylistically speaking, it looks very similar. So Mirror Archive says, just to be clear, did the game get canceled or the in-game? Oh, okay. So the in-game killing game apparently gets canceled, and so before anyone can do anything, they just are let out, and now they're dealing with a strange kind of post world in the 90s. In fact, some of the characters were born, like I looked up trying to get resources for the podcast today. I was trying to get this image, and one of the things that some of them pointed out was like these characters were born in the 80s, like 83, And
so then it's only like 95 because they're only 12 years old.
What's funny though is that Digimon has kind of like not a similar premise, obviously, but like I'm looking at like just the image that we have up right now, and there's like the merry-go-round horse and like the street lamps and like the signs and stuff, and it does give me that like Digimon vibe, which in my heart of hearts, I feel like Digimon Survive has been canceled. I
Oh,
wanted that game to be out so badly. I want this. I want World's End Club, but I want it to be Digimon, and it's never coming, and it's so many delays, guys. So many delays. Anyways,
I know.
this is a game to definitely look out for. World Ends Club is going to be pretty cool. Now, mind you, be careful though when looking up this game. It has already been out in Japan for a year, so just so you know, if you want to look up stuff for this game, there could be spoilers. So,
Right. Um, I also found out that uh, so you know how we were just talking about World End Club? As it turns out, it's from Tokyo Games, which I just found out is a new gaming company that Kodaka and those guys just recently established within like the last couple of years. I had no idea. I am so fucking out of the loop apparently. My god.
Insane Albo says Digimon survive cancellation. I hope it survives cancellation.
Yeah, I do too.
It the less I say about Digimon Survive, the better, because that's one of those games where like artistically it looked really cool and it looked like it. That's I don't want to go into it until the end of our direct because I could talk forever about Digimon and how it's like this. I feel like it's this wasted IP that I really love. But let's talk about Project Triangle Strategy instead. So
Yeah.
So Project Triangle Strategy looks really cool. In fact, if you've played Octopath Traveler, you probably have an idea of how stylistically the game goes. I've said stylistically 3 times in the last 3 minutes. But it is a 2D sprite, or sorry, it's a 3D sprite-based game in which you take the role of one of these said characters. And apparently it has something to do with a resource-based war for salt and iron. Which was funny because when we were watching the direct, they're like, and that produced the Salt Iron Wars. And I looked at that and I'm like, man, I would have pronounced that as the Saltirian Wars.
The Saltirian Wars.
Yeah, because I added an extra I. Um, but this game looks really cool. It's in early. It's the title name itself. Triangle Strategy is a working title. But they did want to show some stuff out. And the demo, as it says in the image that I pulled out, is available right now if you want to try the game out. I have not had a chance to do that quite yet, but it does look like a lot of fun. Another thing I want to talk about real quick, super quick, nothing of super note, but it is cool, is Fallout Guys Ultimate Knockout is coming out for the Switch, which I think is perfect for it. That's awesome. You know, I from the little bits of Fall Guys that I've played, it is a pretty fun game. And having that available on the Switch would be just even better. I do want to talk a little bit about this next one a little bit more, but not necessarily the game. I want to talk about the advertisement that was used for it, and that is Knockout City. So let's talk about the ad.
Yeah.
This
The
game,
ad was a lot.
So the ad essentially is 3 characters giving interviews about themselves, about wanting to kind of change up their routine, right? And you have a Call of Duty soldier character, you have an orc from the World of Warcraft, looking exactly like an orc from the World of Warcraft, and then you have this pixelated punk rock princess girl with like shaved sides and stuff. And these characters, at least with the orc and the princess, they look really good. Like I actually thought it was like I thought they were going to bring Warcraft to the Switch. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like that orc looked really solid. And we even started talking because they kind of talk in vague terms about what they're looking for, and the designs were so good that like we started theorizing that like, oh, well, wouldn't this be cool if this was some sort of RPG?
Wreck-It Ralph sort of style where all of these characters were just different designs.
Exactly. And I think that like how cool would it be to have like a 2D sprite character and a 3D model? Because Octopath and ironically Project Triangle or Triangle Project, they both Triangle Strategy. Shit, they showed that like you can do the 2D sprites on a 3D setup. You could totally do that. And so like we were thinking that it was going to be like something like really cool and really ambitious, and then it turned out to be Knockout City. Knockout City is a game in which you essentially play dodgeball with other people. And while this image that I pulled up for it looks really cool, I actually have no interest in this game whatsoever. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that the advertisement for it felt so unique and so different, that when we finally got it, it reminded me a lot of Ninjala, where Ninjala was this game that I was really looking forward to. I thought that like Ninjala was going to be the next Splatoon, but then it kind of fizzled out for me like really hardcore. Ninjala is good, but the problem is at launch it only had like 2 maps. If I remember correctly, it only had like 2 maps, and those 2 like in the trailers and in everything they showed, they had these big cityscapes that you could like do these matches in, right? Where you could like walk on buildings and stuff like that, and it was like, oh man, that's cool, like that Naruto shit, right? Like one of the things I actually really don't like, or one of the things that I would really want from a Naruto game is the ability to like, you know, fight in an urban area, like fight in these cities, like this, like the village hidden in the rain, or you know, whatever, you know, because that's cool shit. I'm a big sucker for urban setups, and Ninjala didn't deliver on that for me at launch, at least. I'm not sure how the game is now. And Knockout City, while I think the premise is interesting, I don't think that I will be playing it unless it somehow booms. Unless somehow it booms and does something incredibly different. It just doesn't feel like that's what I'm into right now, you know?
Yeah, I'm just not interested in dodgeball games, period. Sorry, I've never heard of like a virtual fucking dodgeball game, and I'm just not interested.
Yeah. We're getting near the bottom here of the direct, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the last 2 direct stories that caught our eye. Obviously, there's Ninja Gaiden and some other things that like made it through, like No More Heroes 3. But to be honest, I don't have a big horse in No More Heroes 3, and I don't have a big horse in Ninja Gaiden. I don't feel like I'd do it justice being like, oh man, look at this cool game that I've never played, you know? So, but I do want to talk a little bit about the Skyward Sword HD announcement. The reason why is because this seems to be divisive. Skyward Sword was the last game that they made on consoles before Breath of the Wild, for Legend of Zelda. Zelda did have a couple of titles on the DS, and even some remakes and a game on the 3DS before Breath of the Wild came out. But Skyward Sword was the last one to be on a console, and that was back at the Wii, you know? So a lot of people have some mixed feelings about it. In fact, Tabby, who is a really staunch like Legend of Zelda fan, as I look around the office right now, and as you know from being here not even a week ago.
Oh yeah, no, she fucking loves Legend of Zelda to the point where she was at work and we were sat watching the Nintendo Direct and going like, oh shit, they're talking about Zelda. Oh no, Tabby's not here yet. As it turns out, she's running to the door. Fucking, she was not happy about the announcement.
I feel like this is one of those ones where I understand, but also it's hard for me to understand. Because Legend of Zelda, I feel like this is a great opportunity for new people to get into the game, right? That's straight up. Like Skyward Sword, I know that Skyward Sword has a lot of hate that has been kind of developed over the last few years. Maybe not few years, but maybe the last decade. But it has developed a kind of this weird hatred as how the game handled it, like with Fee being kind of annoying, with some of the mechanics of how it worked. But they have devoted, they did make a point of saying that they have devoted some of their, or not some, but like their resources to improving some aspects of gameplay. So I think that I'm more excited to see how longtime fans see this port, because that was something that they did in Wind Waker as well. Was whenever they port one of these games, whether it's like Majora's Mask on the 3DS or Wind Waker for the Wii U, you know, they do all these improvements. They do make improvements to the game. It's not a full, like, you know, remake, right?
Right.
But there are minor improvements, that quality of life decisions that I think matters. Mirror Archive says, "Are they going to make Fisa? Your batteries in your Switch are getting low now." I wish. Only because I think that'd be so fun. It's like one of the reasons why, like, when people talk about the Metal Gear stuff, it's like Psycho Mantis would read your memory card and make fun of you for what you were playing. So like,
yeah, I do miss stuff like that.
But we'll see. Have to see how this goes. We'll have to see how this goes, because I do have an interest in Skyward Sword. I do think it's creatively really unique in the Legend of Zelda's franchise, and I don't know. I think it could be cool. The last thing we're going to be talking about for the Nintendo Direct specifically is one of my... I was so happy. I was so happy they announced it. Splatoon fucking 3. Dude, I love Splatoon. It's so good.
I know, you were so hyped when they said Splatoon 3.
Dude, it's... well, first of all, it's in a whole new area. Because it's very desert looking area. They have the what is it? The Eiffel Tower is upside down. And so kind of, it's touching upon the in-game lore, which implies that this is a post-apocalyptic world, and that is super canon. It's super canon that like the world of Splatoon is a post-apocalyptic world, and so like while there are some cool lore stuff, just the idea that we get to see more of this world is really interesting. And as you can see, from what they're standing on are little launchers. So when you enter, it's no longer from what I like. You spawn, but you get to like shoot out directly and choose where you're going, which I think, you know. Mirako says, "Wait, aren't these kids squid people? Why are they in a desert with no water?" It's funny that apparently some people took screenshots of the trailer and they actually noticed that some of the hair on the kids are a little dried out. Some of them,
oh, really?
Yeah, tiny, like there's like a dried out texture to them. So it's really cool. I think it's a really, really interesting idea. Unfortunately, every game that we talked about today is coming out sometime within the next couple months. With the exception of this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, Splatoon 3 was said to come out in 2022.
Which I'm totally okay with. It just gives me something to look forward to. I am so happy that they're making another Splatoon. I mean, obviously, I feel like they were going to anyways, but it's nice to have that confirmation. And like even just seeing like the little bits, like I'm a huge fan of Splatoon. I think it's so cool. And that pretty much covers the Nintendo Direct. I want to say just something real quick about the Direct. I know that, okay, so that's the thing. I see online that there's people who are like really hit or miss with the Direct. I think it was really good. Now, obviously, I'm a Nintendo shill, so I have my opinion, right? Not my opinion, but I have my bias. But I do think that every game that they announced, like, it was for someone. You know, someone out there is going to like the games that they put out. And I think that that's kind of the really nice thing is like, yes, we didn't get a big Breath of the Wild 2 announcement, but I feel like that should be its own thing. We didn't get a big Pokemon announcement, but once again, I think that should be its own thing. We got a big thing for Smash, which a lot of people are hit or miss about, but I don't understand. Like, we got the announcement of like a ton of cool projects coming this way. Even Splatoon 3, which I'm really excited for. Like, I don't know. I felt like this was a real win. Like yes, we got to see a little bit more Monster Hunter Rise. That comes out in a month. Everything that they're talking about is coming out within the next few months, with the exception of Splatoon 3, obviously. And even some of the announcement of Project Triangle Strategy. Like, there are some games that obviously aren't going to be coming out until much later, but now we have a bunch of things to talk about, or a bunch of games that are really excited. And while it was not in the showing, Persona 5 Strikers is coming out on Tuesday. So, I mean, come on. Like, there's a lot of really cool things to be excited for the Switch. And I've been playing Uno. So...
And I've been playing Uno.
Okay, but there is one last game I do want to talk about. One game that I want to talk about, because this kind of threw me for a loop. I had $20 to throw around.
Oh yeah,
I had $20 to throw around, and I decided to pick up a game on a whim, because I remember when I used to go to conventions back when, in the before times when you could go to conventions, and that was a thing. In the before times, they would have arcade setups, and you have all sorts of like rented out arcade machines from Japan. And you'd have like all sorts of really cool things. And I remember I was at ColossalCon. This was 2009, I think. And in one of the rooms, they had this arcade setup. And it was really colorful, really, really bright. And they had like these really cute little characters all around it. And they had these two huge drums. And people were going fucking apeshit on these things. And so, and so, I was looking through the sales, that what they had on sale, and unfortunately, it is no longer on sale as of this recording. But I picked up Taiko no Tatsujin, Drum and Fun for the Switch, and this game is so fucking fun. How do I word this? It's so simple, right? So right. If you want to hit so for one, they use the motion controls for it, right? And right now I'm using a Pro controller, but I am looking to invest in a drum controller for Taiko no Tatsujin. And what it is it's a rhythm game. So like imagine DDR or like or Guitar Hero, right, where the notes are coming at you. And if it's red, you hit the center of the drum, and if it's blue, you hit the side of the drum, or like the little outer rim of it to produce a different sound. And this game is so fucking addictive because it's so much fun. Like so they have like Japanese pop songs from when the game released. They also like, which by the way, some of those songs are real fucking boppers. Like holy shit. like the bass lines on it, like having like it reminded me that when I was younger, I used to be really into rhythm games. I used to really be into Frets on Fire. I used to be really into Project Diva. I used to be really like into rhythm games in general. And I kind of got out of it as time went on. But it really reawoken this thing where like I'm playing Taiko no Tatsujin, and I'm playing with the motion controls, and unfortunately, because of how our Switch is set up, it's not reading one of the inputs sometimes, so I'd break a combo. And how I changed that was I then started playing with a Pro controller, and then we saw there was 2 players, so you started playing it too. And now all of a sudden we're not competitively, not like in like you have the option to fight competitively, but we were just doing the songs together. And all of a sudden this is like some little dumb rhythm arcade game that we could play together. And we tried the online, and not only did I try the online, I tried the online with Nate, who lives on the other side of the fucking world, and a rhythm game with someone online, that it blew my fucking mind. It's so cool. The songs that they pick for this game are so awesome as well. Especially with the DLC that they have available, because you you do have some really like fun ones with the DLC. Like you have the Demon Slayer theme, which is a really fucking cool bopper. But I bought the Undertale pack, which had Megalovania. Holy shit! Playing Megalovania in a fucking rhythm game is so cool and so stressful. Like it's so neat. And there, I also picked up the One Piece pack, which had We Are, We Can, and We Go. No, We Are already came in the game. I'm sorry. It had Over the Top, which was the intro that they play when they first started the Land of Wano arc. And also, the game has a whole anime section. And one of the songs in the anime section is How Far I'll Go from Moana.
Yeah, of all fucking things.
And it's a Japanese cover of it. And they have Chala, Head Chala from Dragon Ball. They have Cruel Angel Thesis from Evangelion. And they also, which blew my fucking mind, they have the Lupin Rangers theme, which it destroyed my thought process.
Yeah, I know. God, it's so good though.
And so this game is just like really fun. I had to ease into it a little, but then they have all these mini games. Like they have these like Mario Party style mini games where it's all rhythm based, and it's really fun and it's really cool. Like you place orders from an eel to get sushi, and in order to do it, in order to convey it to him, he's like you want shrimp, and so you have to go, you want shrimp, and then he goes tuna roll, and you have to do it in the rhythm, or else you don't get it, the order. And it's like it's silly, it's so stupid, but it's fun. And so that's all I wanted to say was Taigo no Tatsujin is so fucking fun. It's so colorful and full of life, and it's just such a fun game. And then we did versus mode, and from the little bit of versus mode, there's two versions of versus mode. There's versus mode in which it's a natural like competition style where it's like you're trying to score more points than the opponent, but also there's this whole bit where there's like Mario Kart style items that automatically activate once you hit them, and they cause the opponent to not see what notes are coming up, or like they'll
change the note colors, or they'll cause like you'll get like 20 reds, but only one of them is real. That one was so annoying.
The one that I saw, because I decided to fight a computer that way, the one that really got me was they'll send these little noodle cats to like dance in the way of the opponent's screen.
Fucking noodle cats. Fucking noodle cats. Or there was one that I had sent you one time where all of the notes became invisible.
Oh my god. And so like there was just so many like really fun and stupid ways to play this game. It is so good. I can't believe I picked it up for $14. It is such a great value. To the point where I want to get the Taigo drum. I want to play this game and have a little drum. And if I can find two of them, I will totally have, at least I'll have it. You know, I'll have two drums for whenever I want to play with friends, or whenever I want to invite people over in a post-pandemic world. And we can play this stupid little rhythm game. It reminds me when you had that one friend who had the DDR dance pad.
Oh god.
And that's what I want. I want to be the Taiko Tatsujin guy. But then we went on this whole rabbit hole because you were here, and we saw all these really cool, insane Japanese rhythm games that are being played in arcades, and we even saw videos from Thailand where like they were playing this one, like it looked like a DDR pad, but it was all like flat. And and Tabby pointed it out is that it was able to determine if it was your left or right foot on the pad.
Yeah, and it was so fucking good. And then there was those other ones where it was like a dome around you, and then the fucking screen was right in front of you, so it became like a cone, and it was a full circle. But to complete the rhythm, you had to touch the circle in the areas that were coming at you, like the light areas, and it would light up in a rainbow pattern, and you would have to swipe your hands like up and around the circle to match like the rhythm as it like extended out. It was so fucking cool, and I'm desperately trying to figure out what it was called. I cannot remember.
There was the. You're talking about the full circle one?
Yeah.
It was Waka, WACCA. But
You're right.
there was My My as well, which was the one that was similar, but it had like buttons all around the circle, rather than having the full ring be the controller. The point is Taiko no Tatsujin is really, really fun. And if you guys know any really cool Japanese arcade games, let us know, because we spent hours just watching these guys, like professionals, do this stuff. And one of my favorite ones was we started to notice with the Taiko no Tatsujin guys is that they would have like their own drumsticks they would bring to events, and then they had their own colors and patterns on the drumsticks. And so we just made horrible jokes about how like these are like, this is like the underground Taiko no Tatsujin like players. It's like you could tell that guy's name's Raijin because a little thunderbolt on his fucking drumsticks.
Oh yeah, fucking it was so good though. They were so fucking excellent. Like some people were doing it blindfolded. Some people just didn't have like the fucking the notes on the screen at all. Some that one dude fucking turned away from the screen and started drumming it to his side. Fuck, it
Oh.
was so good. These people, they were just on top of it.
Oh fuck, dude. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Mitch's Mega Minute. I would do want to apologize for like the little bit in the beginning that it was explaining the situation, but I do feel like I needed to get it out there. And I look forward to doing more podcasts and stuff like that with you guys in the future, because I do miss doing the podcast setup. I do think it's fun. If you guys know any more cool arcade game setups, you let us know in our Discord. If you have not joined the Discord, please do so. We occasionally post some stuff there, here and there, and we also like to find out what kind of games you guys are playing.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, so anyways, you all take it easy now. Thank you so much for watching another episode, and we'll talk to you all later.
Talk to you guys later.